Hello and welcome to the channel. So one of the main reasons why non-native speakers don't understand native English speakers when they speak is the fact that native speakers use a lot of special language or special expressions in their speech. When I say special language or special expressions, this means that this language or these expressions are not relating to the meanings of individual words making them. And I gave an example like that in a previous video when I talked about the idiom couch potato. So the meaning of that idiom isn't related at all to the meanings of the individual words making the idiom, which are couch and potato. Potato is a type of veggies, a type of vegetables, and a couch is a type of seat. It's a piece of furniture that can take 2 or 3 people to sit in it. But when you combine the two words together and you get the idiom couch potato, it becomes with a completely different meaning, and that's a lazy person. So this is just an exemplification of how native speakers manipulate the language by using special expressions which are most probably not comprehensible to non-native speakers. One of these items of special language is phrasal verbs. So phrasal verbs, quite simply, are verbs which are made of 2 or 3 words rather than being made of only one word. So a verb like take, for instance, that's a verb, that's a normal verb. But if you put the word off after it, it becomes take off. This is a phrasal verb. And the meaning of the phrasal verb take off is absolutely different from the meaning of the normal verb take. That's the thing. Phrasal verbs are verbs which are composed of a main verb followed by a particle, one particle or 2 particles. So what is a particle? A particle is a small word which is either a preposition or an adverb. If you aren't familiar with these terms, preposition and adverb, refer back to one of my previous sessions or my previous episodes on the channel, which I think was titled English Vocabulary, Key Terms in the English Language, or Key Concepts in the English Language. You will find in that video an explanation of all the different parts of speech in the language. What a preposition is, what a verb is, what an adjective is, what an adjective is, and so forth. But for now, what I want you to know is that a phrasal verb consists of a main verb followed by 1 or 2 particles, and these particles are either a preposition or an adverb. There is a group of words which are commonly used as particles in English, like in, out, up, down, off, to, away, about. These are just some examples of the words in English which are used as particles in phrasal verbs. So let's get into some examples. You know the verb get. Get is one of the most important words in general in English, not just one of the most important verbs. Get means normally to obtain something, to manage to have something. But if you add the particle through to it, it becomes get through. This has a completely different meaning to get on its own or to get alone. Look at this example. I tried to phone her, but I couldn't get through. This means that I couldn't reach her by phone. So if you get through to somebody, this means that you managed to get hold of them on the phone. You managed to find them by phone. So you see how the meaning is different between get through, which is the phrasal verb, and get alone, which is the normal verb. Another example with the verb make. Make means manufacture something or create something or make something exist after it hasn't existed before. This is one of the most important verbs in English as well. But when you add the particle out to it, so instead of being make, it becomes make out, That's a completely different verb with a completely different meaning. Look at this example. I just can't make Susan out at all. I just can't make Susan out at all. If you can't make Susan out, you cannot understand her behavior. So if you make out what I say, it means that you understand what I say. If you make out somebody's actions, it means that you understand their actions, right? So as you can see, make alone has its own meaning or has its normal meaning, but make out, which is the phrasal verb, because we added the particle out to the verb make, this becomes a completely different word with a completely different meaning because of adding this particle to it. Each verb in English can have several particles after it, which means that it gives rise to different phrasal verbs with different meanings. Let's look at the verb look as an example. Look, L-O-O-K. So normally, this verb means using your eyes to make an image of something. That's the meaning of look. Look is directing your eyes towards something so that you can see it. That's the verb look and what it means. But when you add the particle up to it, it has a completely different meaning. For example, when you say, look up the word in the dictionary. Look up the word in the dictionary. This means search for the meaning of the word in the dictionary. So if you look something up, it means that you try to find what it means in a dictionary. Also, look somebody up. That's another example of a phrasal verb. So, look at the example. I'll look you up the next time I'm in London. I'll look you up the next time I'm in London. If you look somebody up, this means that you make a visit to them. You visit them. You go and see them after you haven't seen them for a long time. So now we have look something up means find the word or search for the meaning of the word in a dictionary. We have look somebody up, which means make a visit to somebody to see them or to meet them after you haven't seen them for a long time. And we have also if something looks up. Look at this example. Things are looking up at work and the company is making profits now. Again, things are looking up at the moment or right now at work and the company is making profits. If things are looking up or if something is looking up, this means that it's improving. It's getting better. So, look up here has the meaning of improve. Right. So, as you could see so far, phrasal verbs are made by adding particles to normal verbs. And when you add these particles to normal verbs, whether it's only one particle or two particles, you get a new verb, a phrasal verb, that has usually a completely different meaning from the meaning of the basic verb or the main verb to which you added the particle in the first place. I'll give you a couple of examples about phrasal verbs which employ two particles after the verb. We have a verb like look forward to. Look forward to. This means that you want something to happen in the future a lot. There is something that's expected to happen in the future and you are waiting for it impatiently. You are so eager for it to happen or for this person to meet you and so on. Example, I look forward to the holiday. I look forward to the holiday, which means I want to have the holiday. The holiday is not going to be now. It's still in the future, but I'm looking forward to it, which means I want it badly. I really aspire to go on holiday or to be in vacation. Another example of a phrasal verb that employs two particles is run out of. Run out of. So this means that you don't have any more of something. For instance, Please get us some eggs when you go to the market. Please get us some eggs when you go to the market. We have run out of them. We have run out of. You see the phrasal verb here? Run out of. We have run out of them, which means that we don't have any more eggs at home. I'll finish off the video with a couple of some of the famous phrasal verbs which are used widely by native speakers, as I said at the beginning of the session. And be careful with phrasal verbs, as I said, because they are extensively used by native speakers, and they are one of the main reasons non-native speakers find it difficult to get what the native speakers are saying, because most of phrasal verbs are not guessable. For example, there is a verb or a phrasal verb which is called take after. You will be surprised when you know the meaning of this phrasal verb. If somebody takes after somebody else, this means that they look like them. They resemble them, whether in character or in appearance. So I say, for instance, Ben takes after his father. Ben, that's a boy, takes after his father, which means that he resembles his father. He looks like his father. So if you don't know the meaning of the phrasal verb take after, it's difficult to guess the meaning of it, because resemble or look like is too far away in meaning from the verb take on its own or from the particle after. Alright, so back to what I was saying regarding finishing off the session with a couple of the well-known or the widely known phrasal verbs. So, when you eat out, for instance, eat out, this means that you don't eat at home. You have a meal outside. And this phrasal verb is a little bit guessable. So, there is a group of phrasal verbs. Some of the phrasal verbs are actually guessable. You can guess what they mean from their composition, from the words they are made up of. Example, we were too tired to cook. We were too tired to cook. So we decided to eat out. So we decided to eat out. We call this a literal phrasal verb. A literal phrasal verb, meaning that the meaning of the phrasal verb is similar to the verbs or to the words making it up. But that's not the norm. Normally, phrasal verbs are not literal, which means that they have a meaning that's not relating to the meanings of the individual words making it. Ask somebody out. That's another example. Ask somebody out. This means that you invite this person to go to a place with you, like to a cinema or to a restaurant. Usually, we use this phrasal verb when someone is dating someone else. When a man, for instance, is dating a woman. Excuse me. So, the man asks the woman out. He invites her to go out with him to go to a certain place, like a cinema, like a restaurant, like to the theater, like to the opera, in order to hang out together, spend some time together on a date. So that's another phrasal verb. You ask somebody out. Ask is the main verb. Out is the particle. So, for instance, you say, I'd love to ask Sally out. I'd love to ask Sally out, which means I want to ask her out. It means I want to invite her out. I want to take her out on a date. Look after. That's another phrasal verb. Look after somebody or something means that you take care of them. You take good care of somebody or of something. For instance, we might say, I'll look after the baby while you're cooking. I'll look after the baby while you're cooking, which means I'll take care of the baby while you're looking. Another example of the same phrasal verb is, will you look after my bike while I'm away? Will you look after my bike while I'm away? That's a request. Someone is asking someone else to take care of their bike, to watch their bike while this person is away. The last phrasal verb, which I'm going to finish off my session today with, is a verb that's called drop off. Drop off. So as you can see, that's a phrasal verb that consists of the main verb drop and one particle, which is off, O-double-F. If you drop somebody off, or if you drop something off, this means that you take it using a vehicle to somewhere, or you deliver something to somewhere. For example, you might say, I dropped off the parcel at her house. I dropped off the parcel at her house. The parcel is like the package, a box that's being sent to someone from somebody. Or if you are in a taxi, for instance, or in a car with a friend of yours, and you ask him to let you go at a certain point or in a certain place, so you tell them, will you drop me off here? Will you drop me off here? Which means, stop the car please here and let me go. Let me out of the car. Let me leave the car because I'd like now to leave it because I have arrived at the place that I wanted. As you can see, phrasal verbs are just like any other verbs. They might be transitive or they might be intransitive, meaning that they might have an object, which is the person or the thing upon which the verb is performed or upon which the action is done. Or it can be intransitive, which means used without an object. So when I said in the example that I mentioned earlier, things are looking up at work and the company is making profits now, things are looking up. There is no object here. So look up here is used as an intransitive verb with no object. But when I use the same verb transitively in another example, it has an object. For instance, I looked up the word in a dictionary. I looked up the word in a dictionary. So here the object is the word. I looked up the word. What is the thing that I looked up? It's the word. So in this example, in this particular example, the phrasal verb is transitive. So just like normal verbs in this sense, phrasal verbs can be transitive or intransitive. They can be used with an object or without an object. But the most important thing for you to know is that they are extremely common in native speakers' writing and speaking and speech. So you have to be familiar with as many of them as you can. And be careful because most of them are not literal. They have meanings different from the individual words making them up. Thank you very much for following and see you in our next episode. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.